Okay, so guess what this one is about? Yep. Let me say something. I want to say something, and I want this one is going to really be short. Okay. All right. Let me say this. Oh, first, it's officially Easter Sunday. I've been up all night. It's 5 a.m. I'm usually up. That's my routine. So that's I did get dressed earlier because I was gonna go out and hang with some family and friends. But as you know, I don't drive, so um, by the time I got dressed, I couldn't get a ride. I could have caught a cab, but I said, I could have bought dinner, which is what I was planning on doing. Um, so anyway, just a lot of stuff happening. Let me get straight to the point. During this time, Good Friday, Jesus died and went into hell and set the captives free. He went into hell and preached the truth. That's what, at this time during the 3 days that was going around. Also, what happened was the first thing he did was bound the strong man, the devil. So you can't go if you're going to um, free people from that are enslaved or in captives. The first thing you have to do is bind the strong man, the jailer. So he went directly after the devil, and in hell, he went down there for the people who were down there, who was bound by their sins, and he unlocked them. And but before he did it, the first thing he did was bound the strong man. And he says, so that's the deal. That's what this time, this Saturday or whatever, Jesus was down in hell preaching the gospel. He went to work. Okay. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing I wanted to say was, I feel a little bit sad because this whole thing is really out of control right now. They say a little least 11 spoils the whole loaf. That's why God at one point said, if there is one idol, when he talked to Saul, he said to Saul, destroy all people don't understand it and they think it's hard and stuff like that, but in the Bible with these wars they had people who were sacrificing their children. Okay, they have people that are sacrificing, having human sacrifices, okay, to evil gods. Okay, and what they were doing were sacrificing their children to this evil god and this evil way and this evil belief and this evil belief, train of thought, this evil belief, this evil faith, this evil God. That's what they were doing, sacrificing children for for this evil God to give them their desires, to get their way. Now, I just finished watching a video where they used homosexuals used and as a homosexual family. So one of the parents was not the actual biological parent of this child. Okay, and a lot of times when you have a homosexual relationship, you have one person that is generally dominant. In most cases, like that's why you have butches, and that's why you have dykes, and then you have the more submissive ones and stuff like that. You know, so one has a stronger will and a stronger um, influence on the other. Okay, one, basically, if a family unit was absolutely equal, and both of them have parties, this is what the problem we have in government sometimes. You cannot have completely equal parties and make a decision because one will, if they both have two opposite decisions, obviously, then nothing gets done. It's just very that basic. One, and so then we have a president on top of that that makes the final decision on things. from what I understand. So basically, in a family unit, you cannot have, when people say that a marriage is a man and a woman and both parties are equal. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because if you have that, the moment that the man is in disagreement or with the woman, or the woman in disagreement of man, and they both have equal play, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done. And so a house, so it will be totally divided, and a house divided cannot stand. It cannot stand. It'll tear in half. And that's why you have a lot of divorces. Because a lot of women think that in a household where you have a functioning male, okay, somebody who has authority, a man has to have authority. What I'm saying by that, by the Bible and the rules of the Bible, man was given authority before the woman was ever on the scene. The man had a job to do before he ever got his woman. Your man should already be doing his business. He should be already about something before doing something. Okay, I'm just trying to say. Okay, so he was naming animals and all that stuff, right? Before she got on it, she didn't have nothing to do with that. So anyway, so here's the story. Here's the deal. So one person in a homosexual relationship, in order for any kind of organization like that, it cannot be, completely the same polarity. Okay, so you have a woman, and it's probably the woman who has the money, who has, lots of times a homosexual woman, the man will leave a woman, and then a woman is stuck with a baby, and then a homosexual woman will come in who is dominant, who will pay the bills and do all the stuff that the man doesn't do. And so if she has a dominant power over the woman, then she also has a dominant power over a child. And see, that's the real problem that I have, because a lot of women will give, in these situations, the reason why her husband is probably gone in the first place is because she wouldn't give him the authority that he needed to be a man in the first place, and to have the dominant power that he needed to run the household anyway. And every time he says something, she'll challenge him. So this is the thing. So if the woman has a dominant power over the female, then she has a dominant power over the child. Now, if she has dominant power over the child and the child is not hers, and she has this other agenda, which is her homosexuality, to justify her position in the family, then she will use her influence over the mother to dominate over the child. So I said that to say this, is that, there's this little girl who is going around, a 12-year-old. They are bringing a 12-year-old. Now, mind you, they won't even let an 20-year-old buy a drink. And so this 12-year-old is supposed to, who has two mothers, okay, and it's talking about, who hasn't been on the earth 12 years. That means the time that I even spent in New York City. After I was 25 years old, and 6 years or 7 years ago, she ain't even that old. So if you take her age and you multiplied it by, she's 12, three times 26, 48. She's not even 3 times the age, 36. She's still missing a lifetime, her age, basically, than I am older than her. And you're having a 12-year-old that is 3 times less the age decide than I am, decide moral factors for a life. Don't know nothing about life, ain't never paid a bill herself. And they're using it. They won't even do that in child custody. They won't even do that in court cases. They're basing law on a child. So basically, if you 3 times older than her, then that means you're 3 times smarter than her. You know, and you're using this child to help equivocate law. So what I'm saying is, you have a dominant homosexual mother that is not even in charge, that has an agenda that this is not her child in most cases, or maybe it might be, but she's still dominant. But her agenda is to make herself feel better about her pride, basically pride, and to hide her shame. Okay, to hide her shame. So they given up this child to push this agenda, to push this belief. To me, that's a form of child sacrifice. It's not physical, but it is still sacrifice to children, using children to further your agenda like that. That's a form of child sacrifice to a belief system. That's what it is. So you know what? We think this stuff in the Bible just doesn't occur. There were people in the day, and that's why the Lord said, now I don't, personally, I'm not judging this, but this is why when they had situation, a little yeast leavens the whole loaf. That's Thessalonians or something else. I had somebody look it up. A little yeast, you let one go and then another, and then they're using this child to play on your sympathy, and this child knows nothing about real life. You know. There was one other thing that I was gonna say. Oh yeah. My first cigarette. I got from my mother. My first beer I got from my father. Okay, I had, don't tell me that these things, the things that happen in your home. Now they both quit. My mom quit smoking. My dad quit drinking. But my first, I got from them. You know, you don't tell me that this child is going to grow up in a homosexual lifestyle and it not influence him. Yeah, I don't know, boy. All I can say is, my point is don't be blind and don't be manipulated. And, to use a 12-year-old child to further the agenda of homosexuality instead of dealing with it instead of adults, putting a 12-year-old, as if they have some kind of form of wisdom. My question is, are you stupid? That's stupid. I'm sorry. Okay, I lost my temper for a minute.